Well then, good morning everybody. And actually is a good morning. After the last couple of times we've come here on a Monday morning and I've had to come into like a battle, I think we might be able to enjoy this international break. United are not the crisis club. Look over there. Liverpool have lost 3 in a row. What a shame. I'll be honest, Arne Slot's got to go, isn't he? Oh, he's got to go. Oh, not sure about this. So anyway, screw them. Screw talking about them. We're going to talk about United this weekend, winning 2-0. United needing that result. We got the result. Amorim needed to tweak. I think he did tweak. The changes helped. United played a bit more direct, certainly a bit more direct, and it worked. There's someone down there in the comments saying, "Are you Schmeichel in disguise?" I tell you what, United have been starved of a goalkeeper who's just a goalkeeper. All right, you don't really need to speak about that sort of performance there from Senne. You wouldn't really have had to speak about him too much. You did because it was his debut, but he just did what a goalkeeper should be doing. And I don't mean that in like a way to bring it down, but we'll speak about the game. We'll speak about Senne's performance, Šeško, things I've already spoken about in the match reaction and also in the what we learned yesterday, but I haven't spoken to you about it. We'll also then run through Gary Neville's comments, back at Ruben Amorim about Pundit criticism, about how it affects the players and how he disagrees with that. And yeah, I've got a lot of tabs open. We're going to have a big conversation here today. How are you all doing? Who had a good weekend? What did you get up to? Let me know in the chat. And let me see who's here from the mods and the members gang. And let's get on with today's show. Carl, good morning to you. Stephanie, you're there as well. We've got some members. We've got John. We've got Abdallah. We've got Zinni, Philip. We've got Stephen, Dean. We've got Asan, Vince. We've got some non-members too. We've got Shane Greenham. We've got Ashwin. We've got Ricky Belt. We've got Mikey B. We've got Banliath. Good morning, everyone. As I said, what did you get up to this weekend? All right. Anyway, let's just talk about the results this weekend. Let's run through them. So, who cares about, well, to be fair, do you see Semenyo's performance in that game? Wow. Semenyo's going to be one of those big transfers this summer. Probably wouldn't mind him our club. I think we were linked with, weren't we sort of having a look at Semenyo at some point as well? I think we were. To be fair to Spurs, they played quite well. Away at Leeds at Ellen Road. Wasn't an easy game. Kudus man of the match, 2-1. Arsenal winning 2-0. Gyökeres didn't score there. Of course, we beat Sunderland 2-0, and that game there, Chelsea beating Liverpool. Liverpool suffering another late winner against them. Headlines like this. You know how I know how it's going to go this week in the build-up to Liverpool? People are going to be looking at this going, oh, you know, Liverpool lost 3 in a row. It's a really bad time to play them. It's like give over. Like, just give over. I would much rather be going to Anfield after they've lost 3 on the spin and questions are being asked about the manager and everything else in between, rather than them just tearing everything up and they've won 7 or 8 games in a row in the Premier League. Yeah, exactly. Right. Give me those 2 options. It's an easy choice. That game at Anfield is going to be tasty. Was it? I think I asked you this before. I think I know the answer to the bloody question. I'm pretty sure it was Juan Mata was the last time that we won at Anfield. Or is it Rooney in a 1-0 win? I can't remember. Either way, it's a long ass time ago. Villa got the first win of the season. Jack Grealish scored a 96th minute winner for Everton. Newcastle, man, Postecoglou's going to get... Postecoglou's gone within the next few games, isn't he? Probably. Wolves, they're getting relegated. And City are just... Erling Haaland is man-possessed, just like he was in his first season at City, where he drove them to the title, and I think he's probably going to do the same again this year. Nathan, it was Mata. Mike, it was Rooney. It's nice to see everybody knows as well. Otherwise, it's been a long old time since we won. And what does that do to the table? Let's have a quick look, right? Don't need me there. United are now, we're top half of the table, people. Come on. All right. Anyway, we're 6 points off top. I think we're 8 points off bottom. We're 6 points off the relegation zone. It's early in the season. But it's so early in the season that a good weekend of results can just kind of shift the whole feeling. We play Liverpool next. If we win at Anfield, big ask, But if we win at Anfield, we're 2 points behind Liverpool after 8 games. That's the situation we put ourselves in. Not an easy task by any stretch of the imagination. But it's a weekend of results that feels good, right? So after the start that we've had, after the results that we've had recently, it feels good to be coming into this show on a Monday morning off the back of a win. And off Liverpool losing as well. Real shame. I don't actually know what was going on here. This is a little bit random. Leny Yoro back at Lille yesterday to kick off the game against PSG. Anyone know why that happened? Was it just, I don't know, just welcoming Leny Yoro back because he's for no particular reason? Or was there like an anniversary? Or was there a particular reason why he was there for that game? I probably should have looked at this before the game. Before the live show, but I didn't. I just don't know. It's just a little bit random, isn't it? Well, it's not a bad thing. Just, I don't particularly know why it happened. Audran, you're feeling chirpy this morning, saying, I think we'll be off momentum again. Yeah. Momentum is something that doesn't, it's a foreign language in Manchester United. Has been for a long time. You could say that going into the international breaks, well timed for Liverpool and it's badly timed for United. Doesn't matter if we played them in 3 days, 4 days. I don't know. I still wouldn't have much confidence about United building momentum. Well, I don't know. I have no idea what this happened. Maybe they're just, it's just your appreciation. And then this, right? Before we start speaking about the game, we speak about Amorim, we speak about Šeško and Lammens. How about acknowledging that the decision not to send off Brentford's Nathan Collins was incorrect? Bombshell moment. To be fair, they did need 2 weeks to realise. I honestly have to commend them, really, in like how bad they've integrated VAR. Like it almost feels like sabotage. It's that bad consistently on a week-by-week basis. We're not just talking about individual decisions here or there. We're talking about spectacular cock-ups once, if not twice a weekend. Now, what's the point? What is the point? The whole idea of VAR was to shift conversation away from those big errors that can... The one that always jumps to my mind straight away is like Jobber when he was like 3-4 yards offside where Chelsea ended up winning the league that year. Huge error that could have been... But they just don't do anything like that. They just make things worse constantly. And it's boring. Really, really boring. It's certainly just... It's not helped the spectacle of football. It's not helped watching a game. And in that particular scenario, Bruno had to wait there for 5 minutes, and then they got the decision wrong anyway. Stevie saying, I bet if they left it to the ref, it would have been 90% better. But this is, I think VAR is like a perfect case of be careful what you wish for. Everybody complaining about referees and the decisions that referees make. And then we got VAR in, and then you realise that it's not really going to solve the problem. It just shifts the problem. Instead of it being the problem of whoever's on the field, it's the problem of whoever the bloke's behind the screen. It's still human. It's still down to interpretation. And a lot of the times when you add slow-mo into it, it actually makes it worse. Great. Right. Enough of the crap. Let's talk about the good. What's your overall thoughts on that game of the weekend? I'm sure there's going to be people coming at me saying, oh, toxic positivity. How dare you speak about United in a good sense. They won a game of football. Fair enough. Like, I bet you were fun at parties. I enjoyed that game of the weekend. As I said in my reaction to the video yesterday, the best compliment I can give that is it felt really routine. Like, and I'm going back years now. I really am going back. I don't know how far back I'm going here. But once upon a time, it basically was a fairy tale now. When United used to play promoted teams... Norwich's and, I don't know, West Brom when they came up and down, and Sunderland, for example, at Old Trafford, you went in there, you might not vocalise it completely, but you went in there going, oh, United are going to have enough here. I'll be confident we'll be the better team on the day. And that's what it felt like against Sunderland. Like, the second half was poor. by comparison of the first half. Second half, United were good defensively, but United didn't have much going forward. First half, man, we had the measure of them. Like Reggie Debris, the Sunderland manager, was kind of having a go at United for going more direct, and I would argue that's exactly how United were broken down against Brentford. I would argue that's exactly how teams have set up against United because they know it's a weakness and they've exploited it. Well, we just did the same thing to Sunderland. It's part and parcel of the Premier League, I suppose. And there were tweaks in that game, right? There were tweaks, and it's what I was calling for before the game. I spoke, you know how much I've been speaking about the tweaks that I would like to see in terms of like kind of operating towards having more split strikers. I really think you saw that in terms of United's structure out of possession. I was trying to look for a screenshot this morning, but I couldn't find one. Maybe I can do a video on this week. But out of possession, United's pressing structure was a lot more simple. Almost like a 4-4-2. You kind of saw Mbeumo drift inside, kind of link up with Šeško at times. Instead of being spread and having your two wide 10s kind of chasing the wide centre-backs and your centre-forward, there's too much space between them. And it was easy to play through United's press. United's pressing shape, out of possession, was a lot simpler against Sunderland, and I mean that as a compliment. There weren't huge spaces to exploit. United weren't going mad aggressive on the front press. There were also changes to the starting 11, which made a difference. Let me see what you're saying down here. And as you're saying, I predicted a win against Sunderland. Well, you remember what I said after the Brentford game. I said, you do know full well that United are probably going to play great against Sunderland. And at the time, I said, it's only going to make me angry. I don't have any anger after that game. I thought I would. I'm a little bit frustrated in the same sense that Amorim will be frustrated. Because I said it after the game. He goes, I know we can do that. Kind of what I've been speaking about before the game. And we all know they can do that in individual games. What we don't know is if they can ever build momentum. But it's good to see that. Waz, are you saying that there was a tweak? Mount worked back to support the midfield. I think Mount had a great game. Yeah, Paul, I don't disagree with that whatsoever. Delo was the weak link. Delo is a weak link. Which is a shame because from a professional perspective and an attitude perspective, I think he's kind of what you want in a footballer. But just in terms of his natural instincts, his abilities where they lie, it's not what we need from a wing-back in this system. In a 4-4-2, like if he went back to Milan and he played in Serie A, mate, I bet you'd be class. You might laugh at this, but Delo is like a 30 mil plus sale, I'd say. How old is Delo? 26? I made that up. You have no idea how old he is. 26. Apparently I do. Don't know how I knew that. Anyway. Is he in the team for throw-ins? I was genuinely half thinking that as well. But anyway, he was definitely the weak link. But United, much better. And what do you make about this? The fact that Senne Lammens recorded 33 long passes against Sunderland. It beats the previous highest this season by a goalkeeper at United and also the highest from last season. So United played long. And it really worked. And I'll tell you a big reason it worked. A certain Benjamin Šeško. Massively. Last time we were trying this was last season. And we were knocking it towards Højlund. But every single time we sent it towards Højlund, it just came back at us. And there wasn't any sort of relief of pressure. That's what long balls are supposed to be. A relief of pressure on the defence. Allow you to get back into a little bit of shape. Allow you to gather yourselves. But last season, it just ended up being a pass to the opposition, and then you're straight back into defensive mode. I'll speak about Šeško a little bit further down the line, but it worked. Yeah, and Young C, I completely agree with you on that one, saying most of them were on point. If I compare, I'm not going to do this because what a crap video that would be. But if I was to compare like the goal kicks from Onana, they were always like overhit, sometimes right towards the byline. They just weren't really, they just weren't good goal kicks. I wouldn't say every single one, but the majority from Senne Lammens actually dropped into places where United could actually compete for second balls. Like a lot of Onana's goal kicks didn't create scenarios where you had second ball situations. I think that's what I'm trying to mean. Like knockdowns. And then you can get possession off the back of it. Have I bought shares of Man United? What a random question. No, I'm not. I'm not in that case. Kai was saying it's almost as if there was a target that was knocking him long. Yeah, that was part of it. But look, speaking after the game, I want to have a little conversation about Mason Mount here. And then we're going to speak about Senne Lammens in a little bit more detail and Benjamin Šeško as well. So don't worry about that. But this was Mason Mount speaking after the game, saying that we're 100% behind the gaffer. We've had tough results, which have been painful for the team, the staff and the fans, but today it was important to win. Oh, I just want to ask you, look, I don't really feel like your opinions should be shifted by any individual win. Like if you felt something about Amorim before the weekend, then you probably still should feel like that. Winning is great. Winning in isolation, it's not going to change anything for me personally. It was last week where I said I've lost faith in Amorim's ability to create momentum in this team. And I hope I'm spectacularly wrong on that. But it was a good performance there. Was it perfect? Nah, man. Second half, I think United... Do I think that Ruben Amorim told his team to just defend their box for the whole second half? I don't think I do. I actually thought the subs he made was spot on. It was it Mainu on for... Who did Mainu come on for? I'm trying to remember what the two subs were now. Was it Delo off for Dorgu? And Mainu on for Casemiro? Is it Mainu on for Mount? It might be Mainu on for Mount, actually. And then Bruno went further forward and Mainu came back in midfield. Was it Casemiro? I thought the subs were bang on. And those subs don't strike me as a... Oh, no, it was Mbeumo, thank you. Yeah, it was Mbeumo. And then Bruno went further forward and then Mainu went into midfield. Those two subs, for me, are not two subs you make if you just want to defend your box. I just don't think United had much going forward in the second half. And I tell you, as I said, you can see it in the comments here. I think Mason Mount deserves a conversation here for just between us. Mason Mount has quietly been pretty good all season. And he's speaking there about being the catalyst in the United press. Well, he's also scoring goals. And like this goal here in particular, you can look at this from a positive sense if you want. You can look at this in a negative sense. Like, Steve, you're saying the sub I hate is in the back three unless it's an injury. Dude, like again, I know you can criticise that if you want. Going into the last 5 minutes of that game, you bring on Harry Maguire, you're winning 2-0 because Sunderland are going to knock it long into the box. Mate, that's such an obvious and default sub. Like, most managers would do that. When you know Sunderland is going to load the box, you put in your centre-back who's going to win those headers. That's normal. It's just the fact that it's Ruben Amorim changing one of his back three, again, that people get annoyed about. And I don't really think you can get annoyed about Maguire coming on for the last 5 against Sunderland. But Mount's goal here, right, you can look at it from a positive sense. It's 18 passes. I think it's the joint most this season in the Premier League. You can also, if you want to, get annoyed for the fact that this is United ignoring the midfield and look how much, oh my God, we're playing it down the wing. There's no central progression. I would say it was just United playing to their strengths against Sunderland on Saturday. That right-hand side. Reggie de Breed, like the Sunderland manager said it himself, United with a real threat down that right-hand side. We couldn't really stop it. It was a good goal. And did exactly what I remember speaking about this in my Start 11 video. I was putting the arrow on Mbeumo saying the thing I really want to see in this game is Mbeumo firing crosses into here, firing crosses into there. I didn't think it'll be Mason Mount who scored from the cross, but I want to see that much more this season. I think crosses, well-placed crosses, are such a good way to break down teams who are in low blocks, which has been, I would say, United's... Even when United have played well, it's one of United's biggest kryptonites. Crosses, I think, get past that. Someone down there saying it's been one game. Yeah, I know it's been one game, and we're currently having a conversation about it, Steve. But I think Mason Mount, I don't really think this is a one-game conversation. I actually think that Mason Mount has, as I said, quietly been good all season. And I actually really quite like the competition you've got going on there between, I'd argue, Mason Mount and Matheus Cunha for that position. I think Mount added a lot to the team. Not just in the press, and again, because I think United, the pressing shape that we showed against Sunderland, I want that to be a tweak that just continues all season. And this is going to be sort of something I want to say after that game. Like, we saw, and I might do a video on this later in the week. Right, it's the international break. We've got plenty of time to have conversations. There's no rush this week. We saw tweaks in that game against Sunderland. And we've seen tweaks in certain games from Ruben Amorim before that have also worked. But we've then reverted to what hasn't been working before and kind of ignored those tweaks. That's something that I would like to see different. And I don't particularly feel that the Liverpool game is the best measure of that, if I'm being completely honest. Doesn't matter how you're playing, really. You go to Liverpool with a specific game plan for playing at Anfield. Now, you might not like this. You might not like that at all. Oh, this is United. We should be... Like, you can say what you want to me, but it's Anfield. It's literally the one game of the season. It is as soon as the fixtures come out, I look for Anfield. I think, what are we going to do there? I'm crapping myself. What are we going to do there? We know how we played last time, and how we played last time is exactly how we're going to play this time. We will defend our box. We will sit in a compact shape, like we did against Sunderland, so I suppose that's going to be continuing. I doubt very much you're going to see a high press from United at Anfield. I think that would kind of be madness. So I think the games after that, was it Brighton after that? I think we got Brighton. Is it Brighton, Spurs away, and then Forest away? Hopefully Postecoglou's not sacked by the time that we play Forest away. That'll be unfortunate. Akash is saying going to Anfield at this stage of the season is grim. Truth be told, there's never a good time to go to Anfield. Not with our record there recently. Always the hardest game of the year. And last year, I actually think we played quite well. Was it Martinez got the first goal? Ended? Was it 2-2 ended? I think it did. But I enjoyed the tweaks I saw. And you might not like, oh, United playing more direct. Oh, it worked. You can't be angry at a manager for how he plays. Ask him to tweak. Watch him tweak. Watch it work. And then be annoyed at how he tweaked it. And again, I say this quite a lot of times. Like, when it comes to, and I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody down in the comments, but just like a lot of football opinion is not really about what's best for the team. It's kind of just what you want to see, and I suppose that's what an opinion is. It's something very personal. There'll be some United fans that just aren't happy with United playing as direct as we did. Again, I don't care if it works. It's not United. It felt to me like it was a tactic which was chosen for Sunderland to expose weaknesses in Sunderland's team, and it worked. And it really worked quite well. As did this man. Now, let's just... That was my reaction to like everything he did on Saturday. I was like, go on. And he's saying need to not respect Liverpool too much. Yeah, it's not respect. It's not about... I'm not saying go to Anfield and clam up and just try and sneak a 1-0 win, but Liverpool are wounded right now. And we can go there, and if you can absorb the first 15, 20 minutes at Anfield, it'll mute down, man. There's more frustration bubbling there. There is frustration bubbling at Anfield now, sentiment under the surface. If you can take advantage of that and start pouring salts in those wounds, you'll see Liverpool open up. There's something that we can take advantage of there that I don't think has been there at Anfield in the last few years. Addy's saying, now is the 3-4-3 discussion over with this win? Nothing's over with one win. The system is not the fundamental problem at United. Never has been. Never will be. I've got my gripes with it. That's why I want tweaks. But we know it's the play. We know it's not just. We know it's how the players approach the games. Like, lads, you can do it. You just showed it right there. Proof. It's how the players apply themselves. And you can play 4 at the back, 4-3-3. You can play a glorious 4-3-3 with flowing there. Doesn't matter if the players play like they did against Brentford. They're going to lose. The system is not the fundamental problem. It might not be helping us in certain situations, sure. But it is how the players approach the games. Chris is saying, good win for us. I went to the game. Oh, you did, mate. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And you're saying Mount and a half spaces, football and IQ. Yeah, Mount was class. Lee saying, come on, fuck's sake, it's only Sunderland. Lee, and I bet you before the game, you were like, oh, Sunderland coming to Old Trafford. What, they're 4th in the Prem? Ooh. That's just how narratives go. That's how the shift will be switched. Before the game, Sunderland were a team really in form, a team that were dangerous, a team that had had better results than anybody expected this season. They could go to United and do something, and a team that was, let's be honest, held at arm's length. Like a puppy. Not threatening whatsoever. Very, very comfortable 2-0 win. No heart attacks, no dramas anywhere. Now, it's only Sunderland. If you go, it's just, that's what, the goalpost will forever be shifted by certain fans. If we win at Anfield, oh, you've only just beaten Liverpool at Anfield. Can you do it against Liverpool and City? And then you go and beat City away. Oh, well, it's only Liverpool and City. Can you go and do it Liverpool, City and Arsenal away? You go and do it against Arsenal. Oh, well, that's all well and good. But can you do it away at Liverpool, City, Arsenal and Spurs? The goalpost will forever be just pushed further away. There is no point where you can possibly be happy until the title is won, which ultimately is a bit of the truth, because that's what we're all aiming for. But let's speak about Senne's debut, because it was everything it needed to be. I like to think in the goodness of his, like, across his United career, you don't really need to, you don't really need to speak about that game against Sunderland much. I don't think he did anything, like, absolutely spectacular. But I didn't need him to be. I just needed him to make me feel confident as a fan. And he did that. Every time the ball came to his feet, he looked up. Sometimes he went long, sometimes he went short. Quite a lot of times he went long. But he did everything that was required of him. Made a couple of decent saves. And that there, I think that was the point where I was sitting there giving a round of applause when I saw Senne coming out and catching that ball. Like 12 feet in the air. I suppose we'll never know how much of a difference it makes to the defenders. But I guarantee you it does make it has to make a difference. Just knowing that the man behind you, between the sticks, if you balls up, like, it'll give you a little bit more confidence to, I suppose, step out of defence, bring the ball forward. Because if it doesn't work, sorry, I've got him. I've got Senne behind me. He can clear it up. It just allows the defenders to have more confidence in themselves. It allows the whole team to have more confidence in themselves. Russell, I agree on that bit there. And like, there's going to be a lot of people that say, well, hold on here, just kick straight at him. It's just good positioning. He's come off his line a little bit. It wasn't the best of shots, but that could very easily have gone in. And United could have had a very nervy last 5 minutes, but it didn't. And something, I've seen someone down there, right? I didn't realise how two-footed it was. I'll be totally honest. Quite a lot of the times, even when he wasn't particularly under pressure, I thought this was quite cool. He just shifted the ball onto his left foot. It was like, ping, sending it out. That's going to make him so much more press resistant. Being able to do at least a decent dink for like 30, 40 yards with his left peg is fine. Let me see what you're saying down here. Seen many of those nutmeg a goalkeeper. Glenn is saying the big question is how he reacts to making a mistake and the criticism. That'll come. No goalkeeper's flawless. Hey, it might come at Anfield next week. But I'm definitely putting in between the sticks. Rev, you're saying, I hope we never see Binder in goal again. Paul, you're saying, I like how he stood tall. Both Onana and Binder go to ground too quickly. Kevin, I hope you have a good day, mate. I hope you have a good week, but I'm not reading your comment out. Deary me. Do you find it boring being a troll? I don't know, mate. Have a little think about yourself. Wesley saying a keeper getting a debut, a clean sheet is like a striker scoring a goal in his debut. That was our first clean sheet this season, wasn't it? I'll tell you what, can I show you something that... This is how starved Man United fans have been, right? Listen to this chant. Oh, maybe I'll turn that bad boy down.
Schmeichel in disguise! Oh, you Schmeichel in disguise! Oh, you Schmeichel in disguise! Oh, you Schmeichel.
Man, we have been starving for a goalkeeper. Well done, lad, right? Do I think he could have made his debut earlier? It could well have been against Chelsea. I wouldn't have put him in against Brentford. And I said that in my match preview. I said, I don't want the first game for our goalkeeper to be away from home. And maybe that's part of it. When he's having a good game like that, you get... Like, people are going to take the piss out of United fans for that, but the United fans are taking the piss out of themselves with that chant. That's how crap we have been that we're going to sarcastically chant to our new goalkeeper on his debut, are you Schmeichel in disguise? Basics. That's all we've asked for. Like, when Onana came in, you know how much I've got stung with my videos and my research that he was going to be a transformational goalkeeper. Because I looked at him, the intern, I looked how he played, and I'm like, bloody hell, that's exactly what we're missing. And then we saw none of it. And it may as well have been a goat. We may as well have signed a clone. Like a Poundland version of him. Because everything I saw it in, we just didn't see at United. Senne, everything I saw in the research, everything that I saw him doing with Antwerp, I saw there. We pointed out that... Sorry, one sec. My phone's going nuts. Go away. Go away. Thank you. Pointed out that he was a little bit hesitant on crosses, and we didn't know whether that was a confidence thing or a technique thing. I think from looking at that game there, it doesn't really look like a technique thing at all. Let me see what you're saying down here. He looks calm when he's off the pitch, but very active on it. Are we talking about here? I don't know whether we're talking about him here. Yeah, Kieran, I enjoyed that bit as well. Let me pull this up. 1 second here. Where is this? That. I really enjoyed seeing this too. And then we'll move on. We'll have a little conversation about Šeško, and then we're going to speak about Neville and what he said about Amorim. I really enjoyed this bit. I think this was right towards the end. Just barking instructions at his defence. Bear in mind, this is a 23-year-old making his debut for Manchester United at Old Trafford. All goalkeepers have to be, I'm not going to say arseholes, but like, I don't know the right way to describe it. Of course, authoritative, yes, to a certain degree, but authoritative to the point where some people might not particularly like him. But it's that person that drives you into shape, that keeps you in shape. That's what Senne was doing. And again, we've needed that. Whether you can pick out whether him being vocal was the thing that you enjoyed the most, whether simply him just making comfortable saves, or him coming to claim crosses, or the fact that he distributed from his left and his right foot. Either way, all things considered, a very good debut. Well done to him. And somebody who really also had a fantastic performance, I'd say, was Šeško. Now, Senne got man of the match. You've got to give it to him because it was his debut. But you could easily have given it to him as well. What was your opinion on Šeško's performance? Mr. Men, what are you saying? It's too early to class him as Schmeichel. But even at that result, it looks promising. It does look promising, man. Good start from him. And it looks promising with Šeško. Again, when it comes to these big money signings at Manchester United, even with Šeško, right? So he wasn't used in the first few games. People were getting antsy. People were getting annoyed. Why is he not playing? And then his first start came against Grimsby. And then he didn't score. And then he was 10th in the pecking order of the penalties. And just like questions being asked about why he's not starting, why he's not scoring, what's going on here? And he's now got 2-2 in the league. Mate, come on, man. Make it 3-3. Come on. And Bumo swinging it in for Šeško to crash in a header off the bar at Anfield. Yes, please. But Šeško performance, I want to see what you're saying down here. Daz, you're saying he was your man of the match. Siraj saying he's build-up and a team player. Francis saying Šeško was good and first to the long ball. It was impressive. Goals and chances bring confidence. Lawi saying Šeško, like the look of him. He's going to be great for us. And look, I think this kind of leads into the... This leads into the conversation I'll have about Neville's comments on Amorim and media criticism and pundits, etc. Like, I love ribbing rivals. It's part and parcel of football. If I can say something, I mean, of course it won't actually have an impact, but you point and laugh at rivals. That's part of football. I'm going to point and laugh at the fact that Gyökeres is struggling so much, just in the same way that everyone's going to point and laugh at any United player and have pointed and laughed at United for seemingly the best part of 10 years. But no one's really laughing about how Šeško's playing now. That game against Sunderland, I think his goal was exactly what you want from a striker. I think so anyway. Delo with a throw on, flick on, Šeško anticipated the touch. That's what you need to do. Anticipate. If you anticipate something, you'll get your foot there first. It seems basic, but that's what it is. And he just did that. Straight to it into an empty net. Ta-da! Simple. But his overall play in that game was really, really impressive. The centre-forward play. There was once where I think the ref called it for a foul, but he brought the ball down, had like 2 Sunderland players on his back, couple of touches, turned his man, got the pass away to Mbumo, but was dragged down as part of it. United could hit on the counter there. I love this photo. I'm not sure if you're the same, but this has to be one of my favourite type of football photos. You know the photos where you get players celebrating and then you just see everyone in the crowd. You see all the different reactions. He's having a great time. Let's have some zoom-ins. 1 second here. This is always fun. Right. What's going on here? Oh, God. For a month. Just trying to do something here. He's having a great time. He's enjoyed himself. He's enjoyed himself. Good boys. She's having a great time. He's looking at a smile on his face. I just enjoy these photos. Yeah, his leap is insane. What we're all saying down here. Glenn saying, don't laugh at Liverpool players until after the next game. No tempting fate, please. Hey, look. It is just nice to come here on a Monday, after the season we've had, after a result like that this weekend, the fingers pointing somewhere else as a crisis club, and it's not Manchester United. MTS said, I'm making that my wallpaper. Someone down there, And again, this is kind of 1 second there. 1 second, I've got to be... My door's ringing twice. 1 sec. Builders. Builders are in. You can wait outside. Right. What was I saying there? I don't know. I've forgotten now. Right. Let's just move on. Wasn't a Liverpool fan at the door, unfortunately. I know, fortunately. Look. I enjoyed the result. I enjoyed the tweaks. Take it forward, United. And I really enjoyed this. And I said it for the Burnley game. And I'll definitely say it for the Sunderland game. Ahmad and Mbeumo down that right-hand side. That's it. You can see the Sunderland manager after the game. Like, that right-hand side should be just such a threat for United in every single game. Ahmad at right wing-back and Mbeumo as your right attacking midfielder is a hell of a combo. And they worked well together. Ahmad held his width. Mbeumo stayed inside. They had their positions. Ahmad also, every single... there must have been like 4 or 5 occasions maybe in that game where the ball was switched to Ahmad quite quickly. And by doing that, Ahmad had loads of space to run directly at one player. You know, because so many United fans feel that playing Ahmad as right wing-back reduces Ahmad's ability to go forward, reduces Ahmad's ability to be the attacker. I don't particularly think that's the case, and I don't particularly think that's ever been the case. I think Ahmad's best performances last season came at right wing-back. And I think as long as you play well properly in this system with 3 at the back, Ahmad can be as much of a threat as he was against Sunderland. As I said, 4 or 5 or 6 occasions, he was running on the edge of the box at a Sunderland defender. And they couldn't particularly stop him. And if they could, he passed it to Mbeumo. They did a couple of passes together. It was lovely. I enjoyed it. Tony saying Ahmad was killing it with the one-on-ones. Akash saying I expect Delo to start against Liverpool, though. Might be right. But Rory saying, do I feel Cobby will push for a loan in the transfer window? Honestly, yeah, I do. At this point in time, I don't see why Cobby wouldn't. Cobby was brought on, what was it, the 75th minute? Thereabouts. I think he'll push for one, and I wouldn't blame him for doing it. Glenn saying, what's happened to Mbeumo's finishing? It doesn't really matter as long as you're winning 2-0. Create more chances. That's fine. It's 45 minutes into the show, and I've not even mentioned the Neville stuff. But to be fair, the Neville conversation, shall I just save it for the lunchtime video? Or do you want to have a brief conversation about it now? Felix, you and Kevin, are you sharing a house together? I mean, I'm guessing they must be fans of other clubs. You won't find any United fan celebrating the win against Sunderland like we're back. But you will find every single United fan celebrating the fact that we've got 3 points on the board. And as I said, the best thing about that game is it didn't feel spectacular. It didn't feel like it didn't feel like United tried to be spectacular. You know, and this is something I've said quite a lot, right? I've wanted United to come out of the blocks firing, especially at Old Trafford. First 15 minutes, squeeze it, pressure, aggressiveness, intensity. Against Sunderland, and it kind of surprised me in a way. We didn't do that, but I actually thought we were kind of better for it. And that's what I mean. It felt routine. It didn't feel like United needed to come out of the blocks firing and squeeze Sunderland and try and force them into errors and mistakes early on. It just kind of felt like we had the measure of them. We had the better of them. We still scored in the first 15 minutes. And we didn't have to, chase it. I don't think so. And I mean that in a complimentary way. Stephanie saying the Traore miss was crucial. Oh, man, Dalot sleeping on... It wasn't even Dalot sleeping, actually. If you watch the replay, he turned his head like 2 times, and he still got skinned by him. But yeah, the fact that we didn't rush out of the blocks, and we still had the first 15, 20 minutes, I think that can be seen as a good thing for me. That can really be seen as a good thing. And yeah, what's the last couple of things I want to speak about here? Yeah, right. I'll mention it briefly here. This is going to be my lunchtime video because I think this is definitely worth a conversation. And I'm just focusing on what Gary Neville had to say about football, so don't try and drag me into any other conversations. You know full well, the videos that I've covered here, and you know full well that's what's been said this week. And before the game against Sunderland, Amorim came out and was speaking about how United, he was basically saying, look, my players, they listen to what's being said in the press. It affects them. And this is what Gary Neville said in his podcast this weekend. He said, I've not got a lot of time, because he was asked about Amorim's criticism and claims that pundits are getting into players' heads. I've not got a lot of time for that. If pundits are getting into your heads, then you shouldn't be playing for Manchester United. It's simple as that. I mean, do people not remember Alan Hansen criticising us when we broke in as young kids that you can't win anything with kids? That was the greatest centre-back of all time at that moment. Did they not think that we didn't get criticised during our football careers? I'm sorry you're playing for United. It comes with a territory. You've got to step up. I don't know. I never blamed anybody else when we lost football matches. And I played in the dressing room that basically when you lost football matches, you came in and said, sorry about that, lads, today. I was a mess for that goal. There was accountability. Why would you blame other people when you're losing matches? Let me just get your opinion on this. I'll leave mine out of it for now, because I'll do it in the lunchtime video. What's your take on that? Akash, you're saying, I think in this occasion, Neville is spot on. Smee, you're saying fine margins and footballs nowadays. I don't think Martinez will be... if Martinez is fit, right, I wouldn't be looking towards Amorim. Sorry, I wouldn't be looking towards Anfield as his first game back. Colin, you're saying Neville is right. Amorim's looking for scapegoats. Tyler, you think Neville's spot on. Matt, you think it's facts. Mike, you think it's facts. You're saying he's bang on. Quite a lot of you agreeing with what he's saying there. Sounds about right, says Grandad Rob. Leslie, you're saying speaking fact. The majority of you are bang on here. Saying he's bang on anyway. I personally wouldn't go as far as to say he's absolutely bang on, he's spot on, he's correct, he's 100% correct. I don't think so. I think he's right in the idea that, like, if you have to accept responsibility, but I think it really just brushes over the fact that what existed in the 1990s does not exist now. That football then is not what football is now. That, hey, look, this players earn so much more money now because the exposure is so much bigger. And that comes with its positives and negatives. I think to try and suggest that, oh, we got past Alan Hansen saying you can't win anything with kids on Match of the Day, comparing that to what exists now, I think is quite ignorant of the amount of exposure and visibility that exists now by comparison, and the ability to switch off from it. I don't think he's completely wrong in what he's saying at all. But I think it's not as clear cut as he's making it. Is kind of the point I would say. So yeah, maybe my opinion is going to come into it here. I'm going to run through that in the lunchtime video. All in all, ladies and gents, go back to this. It's been a rough start this season. Okay, a rough start to this season. But that was a big win. Not a big win in the idea, oh, we beat Sunderland. Well done. It's all back. But that was a needed win after everything that we've had, and we've now got a couple of weeks to sort of reset and regather. Can United build momentum? But that's the thing I've lost faith in United and Amorim's ability to do. I've never doubted the fact that United are capable of individual results. We've shown that on so many occasions. But the ability to build momentum? Never been there. That's got to change. Unfortunately for United, we've got to do it against Liverpool at Anfield, which is the single hardest game that you could possibly ask for. Is what it is. This week, I'll tell you some ideas that we're going to have behind the scenes. We're going to have probably a video today on the Neville and Amorim comments. I think that's worthy of a discussion and debate. I think tomorrow we'll do a little bit of a spotlight on Senne Lammens, a little bit more depth, and just speak about some things that we saw. I think we'll also have a conversation about Šeško. I'll tell you one thing that we've got planned. Not sure when it's going to be released this week or next week, but we're going to do a little mini doc, an update video on what's going on with the stadium. All the news that's happened around Freightliner, the conversation, the debates, the new models, the new drawings, what could the stadium look like, what are the alternatives. I think that's definitely worthy of being covered. But thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to go and let my builder in now because the side gate's locked and he can't get in there because he's forgotten the key. Because I'm on the live show. Come on, mate. I'm busy between 10 and 11. You know the rules. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. If you can, please drop a like on the video. If you're new, make sure you stick around. I'll be here all week. And yeah, just enjoy this international break. We're not the Crisis Club. That in itself feels nice.